The next set of facts on the progression laid out for us by Dr. Nikki Newton through all of her research in the book Math Running Records is represented in part 1 by 14 divided by 7. Now, that does not mean we're dividing by 7. That's not a set of facts for those. Instead, it comes right after dividing by a 2 because we want to connect dividing a number by its half right after they've explored dividing the number by the 2, right? This is like a fact family that we're focusing in on for the students. So dividing numbers by its half, I'm modeling it here with the Cuisenaire rods again. Our context is that during a physical education class, teams of 9 players were formed. If a classroom had 18 students, how many teams were there? Now, I'm not going to show the other context for this in terms of the fair share, because we're getting into sets of numbers that are going to be really difficult. If we're trying to fair share and give 1 to each of 9 teams, that's going to be really crazy. So I want to focus in on this quotative division where I'm dividing by my 9. So I'm making groups of 9. How many groups of 9 are there into 18? So concretely, I might enter this task by, again, drawing out an 18. So I can do 10 and I can do the 18. And I can be thinking about, well, if I'm going to do a team of 9 players, I can bring out the 9 rod. And there is team 1. And do I have enough for a second team? And indeed, I do, right? There are 2 9s in 18. As a student enters into this task, perhaps pictorially, they might draw some symbols that are 18, and they might just be doing, a full 10 frame, and as they're going to be able to draw the total of the 18 that there are, and then the 9 players on a team, that would really encourage them to circle 9 of them, and that makes 1 team, and then circle another 9, and that makes a second group. And that's all there is. That is the 18. So I have 2 groups of 9 in the 18. As we move on over to a tape diagram model, so pictorially way of seeing the structure of this, my total number of players would be the 18. And I know that team 1 has 9. I'm dividing by 9. And so I know team 1 has 9. My question is, well, how many teams will it end up being? So team question mark to know how many teams would that be? How many 9s are in 18? Then I can be recording it also abstractly, that 18 divided by 9 equals, in this case, 2. I also can be thinking about it multiplicatively. 9 times something is 18. And if our students have just worked on their dividing by 2 facts, they should be set up really for success here in now connecting it. Their brain needs to connect that when they're seeing it. The larger numbers like 7, 8, and 9 look tricky to students because it's not familiar enough for them yet. And so being able to connect these, dividing by 2 and then dividing by its half fact, they'll recognize it as such.